of Jordan Staal's career, as she dumps the puck in and Billy Husso makes all the mistakes you can think of to not play this puck. First, he does the drop down to one knee to get a cool-looking stop before the puck enters the no-go zone, but he absolutely whiffs on it. He barely gets turned around and back on his feet when the puck is already off the boards from behind and headed towards the slot. Then he whiffs again, a double whiffer as he misses it and can't corral it with Staal coming in hot. So he tries to go for the poke check, whiffs again, fear of the pride of Thunder Bay barreling down at him, and that's the infamous triple whiff as he makes it an easy tap in for Jordan Staal to make it 2-3 for the Canes. Awful playing of the puck there, although honorable mention him kicking his leg at the last second like it would have changed anything. He was definitely hoping for some butterfly effect type of situation here. But as always, he should have probably stayed in the net or alternatively just play it better. Listen, I'm not a goalie. Kevin Weeks actually said he thought that was probably right, but the execution certainly lacking. And kind of hilarious, this came just a couple of minutes after Kochetkov turned the puck over to Patrick Kane in the slot. But fortunately for Carolina, he was able to bail himself out, and the triple whiff would be the game winner for that team. All while the commentators laughed at him for tossing up a pizza center ice in Little Caesars Arena. But Kochetkov would also hold the fort the rest of the way during the Canes' back-to-back wins to cap off their 6-game road trip after 4 straight losses. But this whiff by Husso was one of the worst ones so far by a goalie this year, in my opinion. But was it the worst? And if not, which one is? Let us know down below.
If I say random stuff during the video that's not related to the video, I'm sorry. I'm doing other stuff at the same time, so...
Alright, so Team Canada literally just lost to Czechia in the quarterfinals.
What is...
I'm so happy because tonight we get to talk about one of Nova Scotia's greatest elite hockey talents. No, not Sidney Crosby. No, not the Nate Dogg. No, not even that boiled hot dog Brad Marchand. Not even myself or Brandon. Tonight we're talking about Liam O'Brien. Halifax native Liam O'Brien just absolutely torched the Buffalo Sabres and scored a beauty, and I'm not kidding. He may have some square wheels on the bus, but he finds a way to beat everyone down the ice on a breakaway. He's got the D-man draped all over him, and he just rips an absolute rocket of a backhand bar down to take the 2-0 lead. Like, just a little flick, it's got to be the best goal he scored in his career. And now he's up to 3 goals on the year, which ties his season high from last year, as he's just been on fire for the Coyotes, plugging away just under 10 minutes of ice time a night. You'll love to see it. All jokes aside, that's your daily reminder you don't have to be Connor McDavid to be good at hockey, and everyone in the NHL will dummy the best player in your beer league, and it won't even be close. These guys are all phenomenal athletes, as much as we joke here. But that nasty goal would be it for scoring in this one, as the Coyotes would shut down the Sabres 2-0. Clayton Keller scored the first one. He's now up to 10 on the year, and Vejmelka made 28 saves for the shutout, and the win actually does help them leapfrog the St. Louis Blues for 5th in the division and into the final wild card spot. Imagine that. If the playoffs started today, the Desert Dogs would be in, and oh boy, it's always fun to see a young team get their first crack at the postseason, just like the Devils last year. Listen, I'm cheering...
The Arizona Coyotes, who were going to relocate last season, those Arizona Coyotes... What?
For Arizona, I've been tough on the team. I made fun of their situation, but I cheer for them above all else. But do you believe the Yotes can make it back to the playoffs, or are they just taking advantage of a softer spot in the schedule? Let us know down below.
Okay, fine. I'll let you know down below. If you are enjoying this content right now...
So, there's this idea that I hate the Edmonton...
Please leave a comment saying... Please leave a comment down below on if you want me to bring back this series, because we're kind of gonna get rid of it and make a... kind of make a different version. It's not gonna be the same. So if you want to see more radio shows like this one, please leave a comment. Please leave a comment saying that you enjoyed this radio show episode. And also remember to like and subscribe.
Oilers that I was cheering for their downfall, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I'll admit I was actually kind of surprised to see these comments because I'm very open about my favorite teams. Number 1 is the New York Rangers, number 2 the Toronto Maple Leafs, number 3 largely because of Connor McDavid, the Edmonton Oilers. Last year I watched almost every Oilers game, and if there's a year where Edmonton doesn't make the playoffs with McDavid in his prime, it's honestly a travesty. So I'm happy to see that the ship is at least above water right now, although them making the playoffs is still not assured. If they play average hockey, it's honestly not looking good. If they play like they played the beginning of the year, certainly not. If they play anywhere close to their recent streak, besides for the last 2 games, they've got a good chance. Right now, Edmonton sits just outside looking in. They've got 2 games in hand on Arizona, but even if they win both of those 2, they'll still be 1 point out of playoff contention. I obviously seriously hope they make it. But what's changed for Edmonton? Well, the most obvious thing is McDavid is producing like we expected him to. He's been on a point streak now. Aside from the last 2 games, he's been averaging over 2.5 points a game over that period, with Edmonton having won 8 in a row before dropping the 2 most recent against the Lightning and the Panthers. And I mean, that win streak is just what the team needed. And of course, the other big factor has been the choice to get fully behind Stuart Skinner. Now, Skinner's numbers on the year, certainly not fantastic. He's got a 3.04 GAA, a sub .9 save percentage, but when you look over that 8-game winning streak, he was really putting together some really nice wins, including a 39 save performance against Carolina, and his save percentage only dropped below 9 in 1 game, and that was their win against Vegas, where Edmonton managed to make some magic happen 5-4 in the shootout. The problem is, what happens for the Oilers if the Stars go cold again, if McDavid can't help the team shoot their way out of trouble? I mean, that loss towards Florida is sort of like the worrying sign to me of what this team can be. Edmonton only puts up 1 goal, and in the first, poor defense leads to 2 easy goals for Florida from the slot. Then also in the first, they can't clear a rebound. It's 3-0 going into the intermission, and the Oilers can come back from deficits like that, and they did over that 8-game winning streak when they had McDavid and Draisaitl playing at superhuman level. But I don't know, I just have a lot of questions left about this team. Just my thoughts, though. Let me know yours down below.
About to skip lunch again? Get it delivered with Uber Eats instead. It's so easy. All it takes is a few taps. Order exactly what you're...
I've got to say, this was a pretty bizarre situation. Going into tonight's Minnesota-Pittsburgh game, one of the big points of discussion was that this could potentially be Marc-Andre Fleury's final game played in Pittsburgh. Now, we don't know for sure. I mean, it's very possible that Marc-Andre Fleury has said as much that he plays another year after this season, but it's also possible that this could be the last time. I mention this because he wasn't given the start tonight. The big headline here came from Bleacher Report, and the title was, "In what could be Marc-Andre Fleury's last game in Pittsburgh, head coach John Hynes said Philip Gustafsson will be the starting goaltender." Hynes said the decision was part of the plan. A lot of people are actually quite frustrated with this, and that was my initial reaction too, but there was also a competing article in The Athletic suggesting that Marc-Andre Fleury may not actually want to play in Pittsburgh anymore. We can't know for sure. Either way, it's sort of a weird situation. Although Marc-Andre Fleury is, of course, always going to be associated with Pittsburgh, it's kind of crazy to think that he hasn't played there since 2016-2017, and really, if it weren't for the crazy longevity of Malkin, Crosby, and Letang, especially, who he played most of his career with, the connection probably wouldn't be there to the degree it is now. Anyway, during the game, the Pittsburgh crowd chanted that they wanted Marc-Andre Fleury, something I've never seen happen, at least not without a mean-spiritedness when they're chirping a goaltender. But Gustafsson would stay in net as the Penguins nearly, but don't quite blow a 3-goal lead. He'd end with a .867 save percentage, letting in 4 goals on 30 shots, while both Crosby and Malkin would get a goal and an assist from the Penguins. But that's all for today. Let me know your thoughts on this game and more down below. Man, Buffalo got absolutely steamrolled tonight by one of the worst teams in the league, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and it doesn't help morale when you get undressed by Kirill Marchenko, who scored a goal of the year candidate. He gets the puck on the side of the net, D in his face, checking him, and he still has the nuggets to go between his legs as he snipes one upstairs for his 11th of the year and first of the game. And this was just gross. Like, no space, no reason to shoot that shot, but hey, between the legs, he's scoring NHL goals, not me. It works, and that was a beauty, but he wasn't done there. Columbus was up 3-1 in the second. They cycled to Marchenko high in the slot. He walks past the first defender and uses the next as a screen as he rips his second in the night for 1 Jackets. And with that, Devin Levi is yanked. He's done for the night, but that may not have been the right call because Luukkonen would allow Marchenko to complete the hat trick just 18 seconds later. He just walks in, the Buffalo D not aggressive at all as they collapse back and he takes the shot. That's the hat trick. A natural hattie and a nice one at that, and that's actually his second of the year as he ties Boone Jenner for the team lead. And it wouldn't get better as Buffalo would let up 2 more before the period was over, making it 7-2 heading into the third. Man, what is going on in Buffalo? I was so excited for these guys after last year and their run where they just fell short of the playoffs, and now you get blown out by one of the few teams lower than you in the standings. Buffalo is a mess. They've got all that size. They don't know how to use it. I predicted that Tage Thompson might take a slight step back, but not really to this degree. There's just not really anything going right for the team, and they would lose this one to an eventual score of 9-4. That's right, Columbus potted 9 on them. And a win where everyone was clicking as they had 10 players of multi-point nights, and they just dominated in a season where they haven't had much of that. But was this Marchenko goal the goal of the year so far? And which of these 2 bottom feeders do you have more faith in moving forward? Let us know your thoughts down below. Off the heels of a disappointing no-show in Pittsburgh, Marc-Andre Fleury got the start for the Wild in Boston, where they played a tight game, which was blown open in the last 7 minutes. It was 2-1 for the Bruins after 2 passed of meatballs in the first period. Then we had a stalemate for 37 minutes, where Fleury stood on his head with the help of Faber as he battled Ullmark. And then finally, with 7 minutes to go, the Wild evened up with their man, Kirill Kaprizov. He wins the battle in the front with Carlo and